Hello and welcome to day 3 of our 5-day Build a Website Challenge. My name is Celine and I'm your presenter for the day. So today we're going to be covering really how to create your main landing page. And in order to do that, we're going to have to go over the differences between a home page and a landing page. So let's start with the home page, and what exactly is it? It's basically your company's virtual front door, and it's generally responsible for bringing in a majority of your website's traffic. So that means a home page needs to be built to serve different audiences from different origins or cultures. It will need to incorporate elements that attract traffic, educate visitors, and invite conversions. And what are landing pages? Landing pages are created for conversion. So converting page visitors into followers, signups, or customers. And an effective landing page can be the difference between success and failure for your entire online venture. Now, landing pages contain lead forms that ask visitors for their contact information in exchange for something of value, otherwise known as an offer. So here's just a quick comparison of what's involved in a home page and a landing page. So you can see that a home page actually has 12 items, while a landing page only has 11. And one of the main differences is a landing page usually does not have a menu or navigation. And it's also connected or linked to a thank you page. And that's something that happens once the person registers or signs up for your free offer. Okay, so on a home page, there is a headline, a subheadline, and your primary CTAs, supporting image or images, the benefits, social proof or testimonials, your navigation, which is your menu, your content offer, secondary call to action, maybe another button, the features, resources, and success indicators are other things, again, like additional testimonials, awards, certifications, that kind of thing. Whereas a landing page is really benefit focused. So it has to have compelling copy. It doesn't need a lot of written content, but it needs some. And also has to include a lead form above the fold, which means the area of the fold is the section where somebody has to scroll. So it's got to be all at the first glance. And a lead form is simply some sort of a registration or a form where you can collect some data. That's basically what it is. You also have to give away something relevant. So that means if you are a food blogger, it would be smart to give maybe a small recipe book or your 5 top tips for baking bread, for example. However, if you were giving away instead a pair of sneakers or runners, that just doesn't make any sense. Okay, so you have to think of something relevant for that. And again, in a landing page, you have to remove all navigation. So it is simply a standalone page. So during the session, you'll learn how to build a landing page because it's the most effective means of marketing yourself. And some of the content, of course, that you're going to create for this landing page will also be used on your home page of your website. So the first part we're going to go over are the landing page best practices. So the first thing is to craft a benefit-focused headline. So your headline is really the first thing your site visitor will see, and it should be clear, concise, and communicate the value of what you're offering. So these 3 characteristics are really being clear, being relevant, and having empathy. Because remember that all great headlines empathize with the visitor's problem. Headlines demonstrate the benefits of the product or service and reassures the visitor that their problem can be solved. Next is choosing an image that illustrates the offer. Now, an image is mandatory and should represent your target audience. And the purpose of your image is to convey a feeling or an emotion, and it should illustrate how your visitor will feel once they receive your offer. Next is compelling copy. Again, being clear, being concise, and being the guide. And this means that you are really speaking directly to your site visitors, so using you and your to make them feel engaged would be very, very helpful. Number 4, include the lead form above the fold. This is something I mentioned earlier. So the lead form needs to be readily accessible should your prospect want to convert right away. So that means if they want to sign up right now without going any further. You definitely don't want them searching and scanning your entire landing page just to find that button. Okay, and above the fold again just means that visitors don't have to scroll to get to the form. It's in view as soon as someone hits your page. Then number 5 is adding a clear and standout call to action. So a call to action is the most important element on your landing page because it's the one of many elements that encourage conversion. It needs to stand out and again be very clear using 1 or 2 words like submit, download, or 3 words, get it now. Number 6 is to give away a relevant offer. And this is the offer that you give in exchange for your lead's personal information. Your landing page is part of your lead's journey to your ultimate offer, which is your product or service. So this offer has to be compelling and relevant to your business. Number 7 is in that form, you should really only ask for what you need. Name and email are often more than enough to nurture your lead. Because you want to gather as much information as possible, but you also have to think if your site visitor is tech savvy and can maneuver things, but otherwise these 2 things are a great place to start. Number 8 is remove all navigation because your landing page has only one objective, and that is to convert visitors into leads. So you don't want them to peruse your entire website at this point. Number 9, make your page responsive. And with Divi, it's really quite simple because of the responsive preview system, which allows you to preview your designs on different devices and customize view modes. Another thing about this is the last thing you need is for your form to fall out of view on mobile devices. This is one of the reasons of making sure it's visible, because you want to give your visitors every possible opportunity to convert no matter how and when they're viewing your page. Number 10 is optimize for search. That means use target keywords for your paid campaigns and organic searches. And this is part of the SEO that we will be covering afterwards. And number 11 is to link to a thank you page because it delivers the offer that you promised, like an instant download to an ebook, as an example. It also gives you an opportunity to interest your new lead in additional relevant content. And number 3, it serves as a chance to thank them for their interest, which goes a long way in promoting them to a customer down the line. Now, designing your landing page, here's what we'll now understand. So there are 5 main elements of a landing page: a headline, the relevant image, the lead form, call to action, and then copy and description. For the headline, you have 3 seconds. That's it, just 3 seconds to tell your site visitors what your business has to offer. So usually that doesn't mean putting your logo because it doesn't say enough unless you're already like Nike or Apple. But this is where the headline comes in. It may only be a few words, but it's one of the most important piece of copy on your website. Here's an example, which is what Dropbox uses. Their current headline is "Keep Life Organized and Work Moving all in one place." Now, it's simple yet powerful. There's no need to decode any jargon to figure out what Dropbox really does. Plus, the word organized touches on a pain point for many who have found themselves working from a home environment because of the COVID pandemic. So you can see that they've tried to blend both personal and professional life together because that's how everyone has gone through. So very, very simple, but it works. Now, a relevant image. Most people will process visuals far quicker than they do text, so it sets the tone for their entire experience. So this is where you have to also be careful that this specific image does clearly indicate what you're offering. Use images that capture emotion and cause action. Avoid cheesy or unprofessional images or photos. When you join our private Facebook group, we will be posting some great resources. An example is over 20 sites that are available where you can get professional photos that are attribute free. Optimize your images for mobile users and use high quality images that have a reduced file size. That's another thing that will help speed up your website. Now, the lead form, your goal is really to collect enough information to enable to both contact and qualify the lead. Again, with Divi, it's easy to customize the forms, including some drop-down options. So what that means is your form can look super clean and simple, but because of the drop-down option, you actually can include more information. Now, the importance of call to actions. So here are just some main tips, is to give your call to action a vibrant and contrasting color. Focus your call to action copy on the benefit to your visitor and get to the point. Try using no more than 5 words. I actually prefer to use 3 when possible. Tell your visitor what you want them to do using action verbs. Get, download, click here. You've got to talk to them like they were 3 years old. Make your button large enough to stand out on the page. This is where some people I know try to minimize it because it's already a bright color. But in reality, if it's not bright enough, people won't be able to see it. You do have to give it some negative space, which is the white space we talked about in day 2's meeting. So don't crowd the area around your call to action. The next part is to follow the flow of the page, again, following the Z pattern or the F pattern, and place your call to action where your reader's eyes will go, to the right or below the copy. And of course, test your button shape, test your copy, test everything. And that's on different devices. And again, with Divi, it's simple to do. Now, we're going to cover a really interesting example of a perfect landing page. And this is about Netflix. Now, do you remember the first time you heard about Netflix? A streaming service that seemed almost too good to be true, with unlimited movies, TV shows for under 10 euros a month. That was a killer value proposition. And no wonder it put out competition. It put competition out of business. You remember people like Blockbuster. So what this landing page does is it reinforces the most important benefits without making it too complicated or difficult for anyone to sign up. And obviously the strategy has been working. The latest report is Netflix is currently sitting at over 207.6 million subscribers around the world. So why do you think it inspires? The first is the one field form. As you can see, it just asks for an email address and then get started, which is the call to action. So a big intimidating form on this page could easily scare away people who aren't tech savvy. But Netflix wanted to appeal to everyone and their grandparents. So that's why they make the first step super simple. Just enter your email to get started. Further down the page, which unfortunately did not fit on my slide, but if you go to netflix.com, you will be able to see it. There is a drop-down FAQ, which, because Netflix has raised its pricing a number of times over the years, they've moved it down to the bottom of their value proposition. They're still telling you that information, but not in your face information, because they're no longer making a big deal about the price increases. And the third part is the short form content. So while many Netflix shows take a long time to binge through, you can digest this landing page in just a few seconds. There are less than 200 words of copy here, and every benefit only has a line or two of supporting text. Now, according to the 2020 Conversion Benchmark Report, they're in charge of a lot of media and entertainment reporting. They have said that landing pages below 350 words do convert better. So this is why Netflix really rules. So after design comes great copy. Next, we're going to cover copywriting and SEO. So here's one of my favorite, I don't know if to call it a poem or just a little blurb from Bruce Bendinger, a well-known Chicago ad executive who specializes in creatives. He's a co-author, an author of numerous books on advertising and marketing. Copywriting is a job, a skilled craft, verbal carpentry, words on paper, scripts to time, and one more thing, salesmanship. So there, in a nutshell, tells you everything you need to know about copywriting and SEO. Now, a person that is my go-to guy anytime I have questions about SEO is Neil Patel. So I call him the SEO guru. He's a New York Times bestselling author. The Wall Street Journal calls him a top influencer on the web. And Forbes says he's one of the top 10 marketers, and Entrepreneur says he is one of the 100 most brilliant companies. So he actually is now a multimillionaire, I think over 35 million as we speak. And he earned his money working online, working on marketing. So according to him, in a nutshell, SEO is a method of optimizing the effectiveness of your content for search engines in order to help it rank higher than content from other sites that target the same search terms. So for me, that again is quite interesting because SEO happens when you research keywords, then select a particular keyword, use that keyword to write content, then other people read it and share it on Twitter, Facebook, their own blogs, and other social media platforms. That's really the key. So in order to thrive, your online business must go beyond simply writing content. Your content needs to accomplish two things: solve a particular problem and appeal to the end user. So here are some copywriting tips. We cover the main points, which are the pain point, your solution, features, benefit, and social proof. And part 2 is preemptively responding to objections, build trust with your prospect, and use click triggers like money back guarantee, is he unsubscribe, quote from a successful or happy customer, and so on. So going back to this part is now we're going to dig a little deeper. So to cover the main points is no matter how you position it, there are a few main points that you need to hit with your copy. Those main points are your person's pain points. And the solution to that pain point, how your solution works, like its features, how your solution will improve their situation, its benefits, and verification that it actually works, which is the social proof or testimonials. So the majority of what you write needs to address how you can help your prospect, not how awesome you are. So let's go more in depth on these. So in the pain point, you want to focus and make sure that you are the one that has the solution. So not to sound negative, but it's important to touch on the problem that your persona is facing so they know you understand what they're going through. This is through empathy, because empathy is an effective way to build trust. And if they know you get their problem, then they're more likely to trust your solution. Now, with a solution to their pain point is what you're offering is an exchange for their information. And you want to illustrate a clear path between their problem and how your solution is the remedy they need. Now with features, just knowing what your solution may not be good enough to convert leads. So you need to mention what's included in that solution. It might be an ebook or an infographic or a recording or a video program. So what are the subjects you're covering? If you're promoting a webinar, how will it work and what will you teach? If it's a service, what can they expect? So give your potential lead all the information they need to make a decision. And with the benefits, your copy should be heavy with benefits to the user because that's what they really care about. What's in it for them? While feature lists what your offer has, the benefits tell visitors how their situation will be improved as a result. And it paints a vivid picture of how much better their life could be by using your solution. And lastly, with social proof, this is where studies have shown that social proof is effective for persuading people to take a desired action. Social proof comes in the form of logos of brands that you've worked with, testimonials from previous clients, reviews of your product or service, and confirmation that others have already purchased your service. In essence, people want to know that others have used and benefited from your solution too. By including social proof on your landing page, you're validating your offer without even saying anything. So the next of the copywriting tips we will be covering probably on day 5, because these are just extra things you're going to have to be writing. Whereas for day 4, we are going to be covering plugins and Google Analytics setup. So thank you again for listening for day 3 and talk to you again soon.